4-1. Which would you prefer?
I think just as it was.
Just as it was. Good.
In 1966, the London Symphony Orchestra invited Isaac Stern to spend 2 weeks working with them on music by Bach and Mozart. BBC Two cameras were there to cover the rehearsals, and the sessions culminated in a concert in the Royal Festival Hall. At the end of this programme, we'll hear Stern playing and directing members of the LSO in a performance of Mozart's Violin Concerto No. 3 in G major.
Some of you are still not vibrating the second note, and you spoil it for those who do. It's a dead sound. It's a da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. It does not have a crisp articulation. It must da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. At the same time, it must sing. Try it once more, please. 3, 4.
What he did was that he just presented the music in a simple and direct line, so that you had absolutely no way of saying, well, that's not the way it goes, because you said, no, that's it. That's the way it should go.
If you're going to make an effect like this, the bow must travel a little bit more on the G than on the F sharp. You cannot, does not carry the impact.
His use of a sound was just to highlight a phrase, and therefore he would not make the listener saying, oh gee, what a wonderful sound he has, although he had a beautiful sound. But that was not what he was interested in. He was interested in how he would phrase, and that's what it was about.
So be ready to...
Mozart, for him, the slow movement of the G major, for me is just a great example that I try to follow. The way he starts it, again, pulling the line, with absolutely just, again, using the sound, using the vibrato, just to highlight where the direction of the phrase goes. That's the essence of Stern for me.
This goes... Now it goes... Yes? Now... You must lift a little bit. Da-da-da-da-da. There's a lift to this, a separation, an airiness. Every performance is kind of an adventure, and I like taking risks in a performance. I don't like playing it safe. You are driven by the ideas that you want to create musically, not by what is comfortable to play. In other words, you won't slow down for this, and you won't speed up because it's easy for that. And you won't do a kind of shtick interpretation of a given phrase because it'll make an effect, but because it is unmusical to do that. And if it's easier to play on the A string, and the sound of it should be on the D string because of timbre, you do it on the D string, even if it's more uncomfortable.
Isaac Stern was always keen to encourage others to make music, and he was particularly excited by opportunities to work with young people. As he once said, it keeps me young to be with them.
Somewhere in the back of my head, something must have come in and said, look, you don't live alone. Yeah. And also, it should be said that somewhere along the way, you have to somehow find a way to say thank you. You can't say, yes, I deserved it, damn it, whatever you give me, it still is not enough. We may think that, but we should never show it.
In 1979, Isaac Stern made a memorable visit to China to give masterclasses and recitals, and the film of that visit, called From Mao to Mozart, actually won an Academy Award. Stop. Now come here and sing the beginning for me. Da, 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 bum. Just sing it. You sing it. That's right, that's right. Go ahead. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Beautiful. Now, why don't you play it this way? Did you hear what you did? You sang. But
when you played it, you played... Now start it once more and play it as if you were singing it.
Isaac Stern was a man of great principle, and he was an ardent Zionist. Because of the Holocaust, he never played in post-war Germany, never. And he refused to work with any conductor, no matter how distinguished, Karajan or Furtwängler, if he believed that they were tainted by their Nazi background. Musically, one of his enduring articles of faith was the belief that the artist must be committed to the work of his own time. No violinist of his stature did more than Isaac Stern for contemporary music. He gave the world premieres of concertos by George Rochberg and by William Schumann, by Christoph Penderecki and by Henri Dutilleux, and also the lovely Serenade for violin and orchestra by his great friend Leonard Bernstein. In 1986, Isaac Stern flew to the little island of Orkney, there to perform the world premiere of the violin concerto by Peter Maxwell Davies at the 10th St. Magnus Festival.
What I always say about him was that nobody actually played like him before or after. That he was a very, very individual player in his style, in his approach to the violin. And you cannot really say that Isaac Stern plays in the tradition of. I think Isaac Stern played in the tradition of Isaac Stern. With Isaac, it was, I'm a musician first. I happen to be a musician that plays the violin. And I think that's his legacy, is that he, you know, for the service of the music, he used this fiddle. And that was great.
As I've said often, and I will repeat again, I can never use music to play the violin. I can only use the violin to play music.